Hi, Louise.
Hi, Todd. Anyway, all right, blend me.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Let me enlarge
Oh,
that.
I recognize those people.
Yep. Okay, so you can see it. Okay, so I just pulled up a couple photos here and then some different textures. Uh, so let's see. I'll go back to this one. I usually will. Oops. Well, I'll make a layer, but first I'll go to the original one and I'll make a copy. Duplicate layer. And then I just shut the original one off just so that I don't mess up that.
Yeah.
Then I'll go to the original layer. Let's see, which one do I want to pull over here?
So wait a minute, you've got multiple layers, even though it only says
Well, I pulled up a few images
multiple.
already.
I wasn't watching. Okay, you're going
So
on.
they're already open in the background. And then I just made a copy of the original so that I have just a duplicate of it. And then I opened up a new layer and I was just trying to find which texture I was going to use. So I'm going to use this one. So I use Command A to select all, and then you can go Command C to copy it, or just however you copy and paste. You go back to the original one, make sure that I'm on that new layer, and then paste it. So I need to adjust the size. So I'll go to transform and scale. No, I probably wouldn't use this image normally because it's pretty drastic, but for this it works just to show you. So after I have it up, so I have both of the layers up. Let's see. I'll go up to that texture layer, and then in the layers area here,
Yeah.
under normal, you just click that, and then there's all these different.
Right. Familiar with those. Oh, but I've never done that. Okay.
Yeah, so you can like choose any of these.
Now, do you have both? No, you're just affecting the texture layer. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the texture layer, but you can play around with these. I usually use multiply because it tends to blend them both together the most, but sometimes darken looks better and sometimes lighten looks better. In this case, it doesn't. So I'm going to just choose multiply, and then you can adjust the opacity.
Which is the tool I use the most, and mine is just opacity.
Yeah.
So those other ones, you're calling those the blending mode over there where you got multiply?
Yes.
And those just, I mean, what are they actually doing? Are they changing the opacity?
No, they just merge the two layers depending on the lightness and the darkness. And so it's not just a layer over top of it, they're actually blending it together.
But they still remain separate.
Yeah. So I just removed that blending layer. So right now it's just a regular layer with the opacity like you're doing. And you can still see there, it's just kind of like sitting on top. It doesn't necessarily blend them together.
It feels like it might be doing like 50% opacity plus the darken or the lighten or the whatever multiply means. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I do. I usually use the blending mode and then I play around with the opacity to get the right level.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Because it's it just gives me a second tool instead of just the opacity.
Right. And I find that it kind of looks a little bit better because it blends it more. Here's another one. Okay, so I'm gonna make a copy.
I don't think I've seen any of your work that you've done this though. Have you been?
I actually did for this series, I did put a texture over all of the images. This one doesn't have it right now. Layer. Texture.
Is that the texture you used in your?
I used like a paper texture. It was similar to this one. Let's see.
Just to give it a little more of a pictorialist feel.
Yeah.
And color in this case. So yeah.
That's really small.
Yeah, this will be very different because our last one had some marks in it. So I'm excited to see what the blending modes do to it, because that'll tell me more equally whether like certain ones are just changing. Yeah, interesting.
So that's at 100% opacity.
In the multiply. So
Right.
tell me again, why have you found you like multiply the best?
It tends to, I feel like it merges it the best. Because sometimes, I mean, I'll play around with all of them, but like darken just doesn't.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it more. Is it darkening the, yeah, it's darkening the shadows more.
Right, or actually, and it's lightening up them. So
Oh,
they
it
get
is.
blown out.
It's darkening them. And then color burn is just a weird one.
Yeah.
It must be picking it's picking midtones in that color burn and changing them. So they each one, I like that one. What was that one? Color linear dodge?
No,
No, it was light, just light.
Oh, lighten. That's lighten. Screen, color dodge, linear dodge. And there's just overlay.
How many are there?
There's a lot.
I've seen these up at the top on my, I guess not my tools bar, but that other bar, the options bar.
Mhm.
And I've never known what they did. So this is great. Look at them all. Oh, those are, well, that's interesting.
Velocity, but they still work for blending.
Yeah, yeah, because you can go into to those separately.
Uh-huh.
Perfect. That's it.
That's it.
Okay, I'm all the smarter. That will help with my with what I'm doing there with Earth in Motions.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Good. I got it worked out.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that. That's Todd's tips.
Yep.
You can start that. Where did you learn all your Photoshop, or how?
No, when I was in my fashion photography class with the knee, they taught me a ton of stuff, all the other students.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would try and do stuff with Photoshop, and then they say, oh, no, you're doing it wrong. Like, you still have a halo around your person. And then they showed me how to select and do other stuff. And I forget how I learned this multiply or this blending tool.
All right, well, I won't keep you any longer, but I really appreciate it. I'll be blending newly.
Great. Good to see you.
Charlie may look different.
Take
Okay. Thank you,
care.
Scott. You too.
Bye.